Hello again, this is Sooner Jeff. It's been a couple years since I made my last video. My last video was on how to be saved, so just go look up my YouTube account or contact me on Twitter. That's where I'm at, or X, I'm sorry. Sooner Jeff, I'm on X, so look that up. I can point you to my salvation video from a couple years ago. I don't do a lot of videos, it's just not my thing. But anyway, my last video was on how a person can be saved by faith alone, and it was about 7 minutes or so. But anyway, I wanted to make a video on the rapture, and trust me, there's plenty of videos out there you can go watch. They got all these arguments and this and that, and that's cool. I just wanted to talk about a few verses as to why I believe the rapture is a worldview. You know, it's not tradition for me. You can go look in the Bible and see these verses. So, anyway, I just wanted to start with one of the first obvious verses. And I will, which is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, towards the end of the chapter, verse 17. I'll put it on the screen here for just a second. I'm just going to show you my Bible where I got it marked. But I'll let you see where it's at here. And I'll read it back to you. I mean, it basically says, verse 16, chapter 4, 1 Thessalonians, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then, we which are alive, not dead, just walk around on this planet, and remain, shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. And then verse 18, wherefore comfort one another with these words. I mean, so there you go. I mean, the word rapture is not used, but this is a passage where Paul says, hey, you're going to get resurrected. Even if you're not dead, you're going to get changed and you're going to be taken up to be with the Lord forever. So that's where the rapture idea comes from. And now, the timing is kind of a thing with some people. They think, well, maybe that's the second coming. Okay, I'll give you that. I'm not arguing that. But this idea of being changed and caught up to heaven with the Lord, completely biblical. And I'm going to go another passage here to kind of back this one up. So let's go over to John 14. And I think maybe this is, the guy that says this has to be where Paul got it. But anyway, John 14. Again, I'll just kind of a little bit here. Just a quick look. But anyway, I'll read it to you. So, John 14, verse 1. Here we go. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. This is Jesus talking, okay? Verse 2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Verse 3. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, ye may be also. Okay, so let's just break that down. He's going to his Father's house to prepare a place for us, and he's going to come back and receive us to himself, to where he is, which Father's house is what he just said. We're going to be there also. So Jesus will come back to take us to heaven at some point. That's what he says right here. Go read it for yourself. He's preparing a place for us, and we'll be taken up there. This is exactly the same thing the last passage that Paul spoke about said, okay? Now, you want to get into the timing of this, I would just say, hey, let's look at one more passage. I think this establishes that there is a rapture. We will be taken to heaven. Jesus says it in John 14. There's not much dispute at this point. But let's look at one more passage. This comes in Luke chapter 21. This is where Jesus kind of describes the destruction of Israel, the Romans coming in, taking over, but also he talks about future events. It's not a one or the other. He was asked 3 questions. When's your coming? When's the temple going to be destroyed? And so he kind of gives a mixed answer. And obviously the temple was destroyed in 70 AD. The Jews were sent to the ends of the earth. They were spread. But not everything happened in 70 AD. And if you read this passage and you're an honest person, you can see that. But anyway, after describing all these events that are going to take place in Luke chapter 21, verses 36, and this is at the end of what he described would happen prior to his return. He describes tribulation events. You can compare this chapter to Revelation, and you see the parallels. Like, this is end time tribulation stuff. But at the end of it, Jesus says, hey, you should pray for this. And I'm going to read Luke 21, verses, I'm going to read 34 to 36, but 36 is really where you need to pay attention. But I'm going to read the whole verses here, so here we go. And take heed to yourselves, lest any time your hearts be overcharged with, suffering and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they may come upon you unaware. Okay? So just be ready for it. Verse 35. For as a snare shall it come on them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Again, he described the tribulation here, okay? But now, this is the verse where it gets interesting. Verse 36. Watch ye, therefore, and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that are coming to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Okay, so he just describes the tribulation events here. And at the end of it, he says, hey, you better pray that you escape all these things I just said, and that you can stand before the Son of Man. So he's saying, hey, there is a way to escape all this and to stand before me and not partake in it. So if Jesus tells you you need to pray to escape this stuff, you should pray to escape it. And we read the other passages. There it says Jesus is going to take believers to heaven. And I think that means you better become a Christian and believe on him before these events come to pass. Because if you don't, you're not going to escape them. But if you believe on him prior to this time, you can't escape it. And so he tells you to pray to escape it. And I think you should heed that advice. So anyway, this is Sooner Jeff. I don't make a lot of videos, but just wanted to give a few verses here and share with you what I thought. So anyway, have a good night. Good night. God bless.